Hey, what is up, you beautiful bastards? We are back with episode, technically it's 4. The episode card says episode 3 because I didn't want to rename it. Renji is here with us, joining the chat, and we're going to get right into it. I don't want to waste any time. So, episode 3/4. What is spirituality? What is magic? Assets of each, liabilities of each, a blended model. It sounds like my dog is dying. She's not. She's just noisy. And yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. Not my dog, with the other stuff. Spirituality. Coming into your right relation with yourself and the world at large. What do I mean by right relation? Easy for me to say. Right relation is effectively being in alignment with the people around you and your community. So it means being respectful, even if people are somewhat dickish to you. I mean, don't take their bullshit, but be the bigger person. Really, it's a hard road to walk, but it's incredibly important, in my opinion, to have that character, I guess. So that's what I think spirituality is, right? Just being a decent person and making the right choices in the right moments at the right times. And it is big picture intent. So thinking about how you relate to the future generations, how you relate to the previous generations, and what your responsibility and your role is in your current life. It is about looking at your actions, the actions that you take. Are your actions in integrity and alignment with what your beliefs are? Are you carrying yourself in a way that you can respect? Is there a reason that you're carrying yourself in a way that you can't respect? Do you feel called to do something that is out of character for you? It is about attitudes, and the attitudes that you carry towards other people, the attitude that you carry towards yourself, the attitude that you carry towards life in general. Spirituality is a lot bigger concept than sharing like shitty memes online or trying to manifest like a yacht. Integrity. One of my favorite definitions of integrity is doing what you were saying you were going to do long after the mood has left you. And that's a really big, important part of spirituality, is staying true to yourself, even when no one's looking, and doing the right thing when no one's looking. And then responsibility. Responding to situations because you feel called to do so, and not in like a social justice warrior sense of the way, but responsible for how you carry yourself. This isn't about policing other people. This is about policing yourself, because it's like one of the biggest forms of self-love, and it's about having responsibility for what comes after you're here. It's planting trees that you'll never enjoy the shade of. Spirituality, in like one sentence, is be excellent to each other. Wild stallions, bro. If you can't see the meme, or if you can't see the video of this and you're watching it or you're listening to it, I have a picture of Bill and Ted, which is why I did air guitar, which you also didn't see, but whatever. You're missing out. What is magic then? I use a hybrid definition, and it is the art of creating changes in consciousness and reality in conformity with will. So I think that's pretty straightforward. That's how I use it, right? I will use sigils like to create changes in my attitude, to create changes and when I create changes in my attitude, I can create changes in the external world. I like chaos magic because it really focuses on shifting small things into big ways, like looking at probabilities and understanding that you only need to have like a 1 or 2% increase in probability in certain areas to really make big gains. Anyhow, I'm getting off topic. Let me get back on here. Magic is like a spiritual technology is how I'm phrasing it here. And I love that concept. What I mean by that is it's learning to harness spiritual energies and utilizing it for your betterment when you get good at it, right? And that's one of the things we're going to talk about, so I'm not going to get ahead of myself here. So what consists of magic for me, and this may differ from person to person, magic is spells, divination, mediumship, energy work, summoning, and things of that nature. I conceive all of those things to be magic oriented. Spirituality is the practice of communicating with these things. Magic is the art of learning to use spirit to do, I don't want to say your bidding because that's not the right terminology, but working with spirit in different ways, in different energies in different ways. Pros of spirituality: it can teach humility, it teaches balance, teaches restraint, teaches compassion, teaches tolerance. All of these things are great when used moderately. Magic pros: it can even the odds. As you can see here, maybe there is a person standing up to a big beast there. Can increase power, can increase security, can increase influence, can create results. I don't know if I have the quote in here, but I'm going to say it. Maybe I'll shoot myself in the foot later. But effectively, magic is for people who either have no power or have a lot of power and need to protect it. If you're kind of in the middle, you don't need magic. So if you're listening to this, you're either screwed or you're kind of well off. Chances are you're screwed, though. Can increase influence and can create results, which is good. We want results, right? Results oriented. Let's see what we got next. Spirituality cons can be an opiate, savior syndrome, and no Kool-Aid, please. So the opiate aspect of spirituality is you can be one of those people that just focus on manifesting and focuses on getting all of the things that you want rather than doing the things that you need to do and helping the people that you need to help. It's love and light only, positive vibes only. That keeps you stuck. I'm just going to be honest. It keeps you fucking stuck because there's a lot of things that you have to look at in order to move forward that are not love and light and sunshines and rainbows and kitten whiskers. So get the fuck over it. Next thing is savior syndrome. Savior syndrome is thinking that you have to save everybody and that you have the only true way and that your way is the way that it has to be, right? This is like evangelicizing whatever your bullshit beliefs are. And I'm not going to name anybody in magical communities or spiritual communities that do this because I don't think that it is appropriate. But yeah, there we go. And then no Kool-Aid, please, is spirituality can turn very cult-like very quickly. And by cult-like, cults in themselves aren't bad. It's like if you look at the root word, part of it is culture. It's how they're manipulated. And it's how they're structured to where a few people are in power. That's what's dangerous is the power structure. It's not the community or the culture. I guess the culture would be part of the problem too. But anyhow, no Kool-Aid. Part of spirituality is it creates cults. Spirituality only can leave people really, really vulnerable too. That's one of the benefits of why church kind of frowns upon magic and stuff like that, is it leaves you kind of fucked in terms of getting yourself out of the fire, as is shown in this puppet master picture. Magic cons, thirst for power. I love that Okiora picture. Thirst for power, descent into madness, hungry ghostdom. So thirst for power is obvious. You get a taste of power and you want more of it. Descent into madness is kind of what occurs when the thirst for power gets strong enough. It's power at all costs, no matter what happens. And then hungry ghostdom is effectively when that descent into madness has consumed all of you. I don't mean to laugh at that. This is not like a laughing matter. It's consumed all of you and you don't give a shit about anything and you've kind of lost your soul at that point. And it is like being a hollow or an espada in Bleach, which is why I have Ukiora there. Magic only, it can lead to addiction to power. If people don't have some principles or some guiding compass of how to relate to other people, even if it's only like an atheistic view and understanding basic economics of supply and demand, like not supply and demand, but like basic things of being good to people. Like atheists still have a lot of moral beliefs that aren't founded in spirituality. They're founded in practicality of being kind to other people, and that will bring good results to you. Magic only can lead to just being a selfish dickhead, is what I was trying to communicate poorly. Here's the hit. They're intentionally kept separate to keep you from your personal power. So you're often shown magic as a separate entity. And granted, anybody that studies any of the books will understand that there's spirituality inherent there. But the spirituality that you're still given is, I don't want to say it's incorrect because people find meaning and purpose through it. But I think that there's a lot of stuff left out of it. Same thing with spirituality. If you look at religions are devoid of a lot of the things that can move them forward. We already kind of touched on that. Why is it like that? Psychopaths are in power. Like that's one of the easiest answers I can give you. And if you actually look at how things are structured, that's true. But anyhow, like that's true. Maybe not the psychopath thing, but there's a lot of people in power that might not have your best interest at heart. And whether or not that's by design or it's just that shit floats to the top, I don't know. Part of the other reason why is safety. If everybody had access to understanding spirituality and magic, while there would be a lot of good people, there would be the propensity for a lot of bad to be done. So it might be wise to keep them separate unless people are searching for it and willing to find it. That's like the answer that I can come up with, honestly. And then a bit of both is probably the actual truth, though. Meaning that there are some psychopaths that understand this and they intentionally suppress this knowledge, and that this knowledge also has some things that by nature keep it suppressed from the wrong hands. Yeah, that's what I got. Anyhow, blended model is my favorite, and I have a picture of Grant Morrison there. This, I don't know where this is from, but you program reality, now do it. Blended model is right use of power, right restraint of power, community focused, sustainable, long-term, rhizomatic. And by rhizomatic, I mean that it works like a mushroom. That's how I intended it. I don't know if that's the right word. But mushrooms form in this very, very interesting way. Maybe mycelial is the word that I want. I don't know if rhizome is correct the more I think about it. But they work together in an interesting way. Okay. So blended model in terms of, this is like the positive side of the blended model. Right use of power, restraint of power, community focused, sustainable, long-term, rhizomatic. And then this is the kind of misuse of power of blended model. Perverse use of power, self-focused, will impose control, focused on short-term, finite, individualistic. And this is kind of the religion of self, or the spirituality of self. This is like when manifestation stuff gets heavily involved in some of the darker aspects of magic. Now, granted, I'm not saying anybody that's doing manifestation is evil and fucking on this side of things. That would be fucking stupid. I'm not saying that shit. Very few people that you'll probably meet will end up in this blended model. Very few people you'll meet will probably end up in the other blended model. Very few people end up in the blended models in general, like in a substantial or meaningful way. Anyhow, recapitulate. Like, I'm sick of hearing myself talk about this. Spirituality is about tuning into the natural power of the universe. Magic is learning to channel it. And if you look, channel is literally in the word channeler, which is one of the terms of magician. And then source, or source energy, is literally in the term sorcerer. Wow, look at that. Episode 3, the world's wrapped up in black magic and doesn't even know it. Learn what black magic is and who's doing it. I'm sorry, that should have been episode 4. Anyhow, we have a couple different changes to the agenda. We'll talk about who's doing it at some point. It's not really that important at this stage of things. Stay tuned for episode 5, I guess, because this is 4. It's confusing as fuck how this is done right now, and I apologize, but we'll get it sorted. Peace.